Hey everyone, let's do this one bite at a time. Today we are making steak sandwiches on homemade pretzel rolls with a side salad. It was stacked with so much flavor, you all, and we really enjoyed it. I'm going to show you how I made it. Here I am making the dough for our pretzel rolls. Here I'm just getting ready to form and shape the buns, and then I bake them. I'm slicing up tomatoes so that we can have guacamole and tomatoes on our sandwich. I like red onions in our guacamole, so I'm dicing that up. And I also like onions on our salad, which you just saw me shred up some lettuce. Here's the avocado to make the guacamole. I used a fork and I just kept mashing it until I got it to the texture that I liked. I added a half of a lime. I was heavy-handed with the garlic and herb seasoning because it's salt-free. I added Mrs. Dash. I lightly added some Lowry seasoned salt. I added garlic powder. I added in my red onions, and then I added in some tomatoes, and then I stirred everything together. I stirred all the ingredients together to make sure the flavors. I shredded some cheese for our salad. I got us a ribeye steak, and I started thinly slicing it. I added a little bit of oil to it so that my seasoning would stick. I added sazon, black pepper. I added the garlic and herb seasoning. I also added some Mrs. Dash. I added some garlic powder. Once you get everything seasoned up the way you like it, go ahead and mix it all together in a bowl. I know I have things seasoned well because the color of the meat changed. I heat up my oil in my pan and drop that steak on in there, and I let it cook all the way until it is done. I flip the meat occasionally to make sure it cooks evenly on both sides. I add some American cheese. I let that melt through the steak, and then I stir it up. If you like your cheese thick, then you don't have to mix it around. I personally don't like a lot of cheese, so I continue to mix it. I'm buttering up my pan to toast the pretzel buns. I keep the buns in the pan until they're a little brown. I remove them from the heat and I start building my sandwich. Everyone can build their sandwich the way they would like to, but I added steak to mine. I added mayonnaise to the top of the bun. I added some guacamole, and I spreaded that all throughout my bun. I am a lover of onions, so I added a generous amount of onions on top of the guacamole. I topped it with some tomatoes, and there you have it, a nice ribeye steak sandwich on homemade pretzel buns. Here I started to assemble my salad with some romaine lettuce, some red onion. I added tomatoes. I added a good amount of shredded cheese to it. I forgot to show it, but I added ranch dressing.